All right, so in this video, I'm going to go over some of the questions I'm getting about the browser node, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is going to add my finish node, and I'm going to add a browser node, okay? And then I'm going to start answering the questions, okay? So the first question is, how do we get the current URL, and how do we expose the current URL so that we can, I guess, use that anywhere in the package, okay? So this is going to touch on JSON keys, okay? JSON keys exposes a value and makes that value taggable, okay? So you can sprinkle that value anywhere throughout packages. Any package that's connected to this browser node, we'll be able to use that, okay? So the example I'm going to use is Google, okay? Google's a good place to understand how packages works and some of the pitfalls as well with the browser node. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my automation, and I'm going to go to Google, okay? I'm going to go to Google, and let's see, I'm going to add an input node for the search query, okay? Search query, and then we're going to go to Google first, okay? Go to Google. All right, and now we're going to add another step for doing the search. So we're going to say type in the search query, okay? So while I do this, I just want to stress that yes, this is the way to do Google via the browser node, but the best way to use Google is to use the Google node, okay? It's faster, and it is more performant. You can get your results in less than a second, okay? But sometimes doing Google through the browser node is probably better if you want to see the ads, if you want to, just to get the real search experience. This is probably the better way to do it. Okay, so type in the search query. I'm going to go to Google now because I need to get the selector for the search box, okay? So the selector for the search box is, let's see, name equals Q. That's what it is for Google. All right. So let's just make sure that there's no other name equals Q, because I remember Google has a weird thing like that. So let's go to document.query selector all name equals Q length. Okay, perfect. So there's only one name equals Q. Okay. So we're going to fill in this field, and the selector is going to be input name equals Q, okay? And then the fill value is going to be search query at search query, okay? So we're going to save that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a screenshot, because I love taking screenshots to debug. All right, let's take a screenshot, save that. So the first thing I want to go over, I think the first question was, how do I get the current URL, and how do I expose that, okay? So exposing a certain value, if the node returns JSON, like the browser node does, it is a node that at the end of the day returns JSON. You need to use the JSON keys, this part of the package, okay? So I want to use this image. I'm going to copy this browser ID, and I'm going to paste it here, okay? Now that's going to be exposed as a key that I can use in nodes that are connected to the browser node, okay? Or that are dependent on the browser node, because these connections aren't, so let me add another node here. Let's just add a JS node here. So this connection doesn't only mean do this, then do that. So it's not a workflow. It's not only a workflow. What it really means is dependency, okay? This node is dependent on the browser node, so it needs to wait. This line says, I'm going to wait until the browser node performs what it needs to perform, and then I'm going to execute the JS runner. And you can see that this is a taggable step now. That JSON key is a taggable step. And if I were to put it here, in Google.screenshot. This would just be the URL. So input would be the, so if you say return input, because the environment with tags is Google.screenshot, here input would be the image URL for this particular screenshot, okay? I don't know if that makes sense, but once we run this package, it'll be very clear what's happening, okay? So we're gonna put first screenshot URL, okay? So I think the next question was, how do we get the current URL, okay? So I'm gonna just add a wait here. Let me see here. Let's just wait timeout. Let's wait for 5 seconds, okay, 5,000 milliseconds. Wait for 5 seconds, okay? And then right here, we're gonna get the current URL, okay? Get the current URL. And the action that is best for getting the current URL is to execute JavaScript, okay? So here, executing JavaScript in a browser node, especially multi-line, again, this is very technical and I don't think a lot of people would want to do this, but I could add it as an action to bypass all this stuff, because I think a common thing that people will want is the current URL. So to get to execute JavaScript, this is the best way. It's an immediately, I think they call it immediately executing function or something like that. So what this is, it will execute the JavaScript that you tell it to, okay? For one-line JavaScript, you could just say document dot, okay, so the window.location.href will give you the current URL, okay? That alone will do it, okay? But I prefer to do it like this because basically you're gonna usually want to write multi-line JavaScript if you're here, and to write multi-line JavaScript it needs to be formatted this way, okay? So this will get us the current URL, okay? And then to expose that, you need to copy this browser step and then add it to the JSON keys, okay? So we're exposing screenshot and execute JS, okay, to get the current URL. Now I'm gonna run this, okay? I might run into errors and I will fix the errors that I run into, I promise you that. But let's just add a couple things here. I want to return markdown, and then I want to say the screenshot, and then the final URL, okay? So for the screenshot, we're just going to go at Google and then screenshot, but this is HTML, remember, so all this is the image URL, so we need to add an image tag, all right? And then we should be able to see this. And I just want to make the width be like 700 pixels so that it's not taking up the whole screen. Actually max width and then width 100%. All right, and then the final URL is going to be at google.execute.js. All right, and we can use this anywhere, not just in the final node. So if we can, it's connected here and we can see that as a taggable step, it is available, okay? And the taggable steps are 2 because this is really just a child of the Google node, okay? So now, if we run this, and I'm gonna turn on debug mode so we can actually see it working in real time, okay? I'm going to run this. We might run into errors, but we might not. All right, so let's see what happens. Run this package. Search query is going to be niches, and let's run the package. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, so it's getting started. Let's see what happens. Oh, I did not. I didn't press enter. I didn't do anything to do the search. Okay, let's stop let me stop this browser runner. Let it go. Let's let it error. Okay. So let me make sure that my selector is correct here. It's a text area, not an input, so that's why it didn't type. Text area, okay. And we also need to press enter, okay, to do the search. So let's go here and press enter. All right. Press enter. Press key, enter. Okay. And let's save this. Okay. And now let's run it again and see if it actually does what we want to do. All right, so here it goes. It's getting started. All right, so it's here now. And it's done, okay? So it finished doing that pretty quickly. So now let's look at the finished product, okay? So there's our screenshot and there's our final URL. So everything seems to be working correctly. That's the way that you use, that's how you get the current URL, and that's how you, I guess that's how you also use keys too. So you need to, keys are title cased, okay? So let me go to the docs for packages right now. Keys are title cased, okay? So if we go to keyboard shortcuts, Control-Alt, Control-C, Control-V, this is how you need to type it in that field. And I will point to this page in that field so people can see all the different keyboard shortcuts they can apply. It's really, there's an infinite amount of shortcuts you can do. You just need to know how to type them correctly. So I will add a link here. Yeah, so I hope that helps. I'll probably record one more video centered around keyboard shortcuts. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Yeah, so let me know if you have any more questions in the group. All right, see ya.